Hey everyone, this is PrinceWatercress, and welcome to a brand new Let's Play. This time around, it is Franklin's Great Adventure for the Game Boy Advance. Yes, I know I'm playing a children's television program-based game, with the children's television programming being questioned, being shown on Nick Jr., at least where I'm from in the States, long after my time with Nick Jr. was done. And believe it or not, Franklin did have a couple of video games. Matter of fact, he had two on the Game Boy Advance. This is the second one. The game is called Franklin's Great Adventure, but the title screen says Franklin the Turtle. This is not to be confused with Franklin the Turtle for Game Boy Advance, which came out a year before Franklin's Great Adventure. Interestingly, the title screen on the first game just said Franklin. Go figure. So anyway, this is a Game Boy Advance game from 2006. The original Franklin the Turtle game was obviously from 2005. We're going to be playing the 2006 game, and I'm going to press start. We have a story mode, we have a Minigames mode, and we have an options mode. We can go back to selecting our language again, if we so choose, and we can do French and Spanish. I'm going to keep it on English. And there are the credits as well, but I'm not going to look at those until after we've beaten the game. Minigames mode is going to be lacking for now, because we're going to be unlocking all the minigames in story mode anyway, which is what we're going to be playing for this Let's Play. So, let's just go ahead and go right into story mode. And if you're wondering why I'm playing this, well, you're going to soon find out once I get into this game. So, we have an overworld map. Franklin's there in the center. We control him. We started at home. We have our teacher, whose name I can't even remember because I've never watched the series. There is a yellow arrow pointing at him, which means we need to go to him at once. And in case we forget where he is, well, there is a compass indicating where we need to go next in the lower right-hand corner. And in the upper right-hand corner is the amount of fruits that we picked up. Anyway, let's go ahead and use the control pad to move around in 8 directions. Then go up to this guy and just walk up to him and we can start talking. Good morning, Franklin. You'll have lots of fun now that school is out. To find your way around Woodland, follow the direction of the arrow in the lower right-hand corner of the screen. You can walk anywhere in Woodland and talk to anyone you want, but the characters you need to meet to move ahead in the story have a small arrow above their head, like this person we're talking to right now. Listen carefully to what they have to say. And from here, we could go anywhere we want, and we can, but we need to go to the right, and I believe that we talk to Franklin's dad. At least I remember that this guy is Franklin's dad. Good morning, Franklin. Vacation starts today. There's a good wind. Maybe you could go get your kite. And apparently the compass is now pointing northwest, which means we have to go back home, and this is where we meet our mom. Your kite is in your room, but you'll have to put your things away if you want to find it. And from here we can either select yes, which is Franklin shaking his head up and down, or no, which is Franklin's head moving left and right. We're obviously going to pick yes, because what else are we going to be doing right now? Clean up your room. Put all of Franklin's things in the right place. Clothes in the dresser. Toys in the toy box. And put all the kite pieces in the bag. Move the object you want with the control pad, then put it away with the A button. And we have 70 seconds to put things where they should. So, clothes go into the dresser. That's a kite piece. Toys go into the chest on the right. That is Close. That's a kite piece. That is close. That is also close. That is also close. There's a kite piece. Thankfully, you can tell the kite piece things apart from just everything else. And as long as you're pretty fast on the draw, a little fast on the draw, you should have plenty of seconds left to spare. And there's that last kite part. Once you get the last kite part in the bag, you complete the minigame. Good job! You made it! This minigame is now available in Minigames Mode. Good job, Franklin! Now the room is really clean. You can go play with your kite in the garden. And the garden is to the east. And there's this big number 1 here in the map all of a sudden. We have to go up to it and press A. Do you want to go to the garden? Yes, yes we do. A gust of wind has blown away all of the pieces of Franklin's kite. Go look for them and pick them all up. We have 60 pieces of fruit and 6 kite pieces. We have to get the kite pieces again, apparently. And from here, we can move left and right with left and right. We can duck with down. And we can jump with A. So we're picking up fruit. We're doing very basic platforming. And, oh, press the A button to jump. I've already established that, but at least the game is kind enough to tell you here. And by jumping, we can get all this fruit, and we can also get our first kite piece. Thankfully, we can go back in case we don't get everything on the first run. Press the control pad down the crouch and crawl. Not only can you hold down the crouch, you can hold down left or down right to crawl left or right respectively. And by bouncing on this ball, by jumping on it, you can go to higher places, which is good because we want to get on these branches to get our third kite piece. So, if you paid attention to a lot of the developer names on the copyright info for the game at the very beginning of the video, and you're looking at this and you're probably being reminded of some other game, that's because a lot of the same developers who worked on this game also previously worked on, wait for it, Postman Pat and the Greendale Rocket for Game Boy Advance, which I also played in the past. So if you're wondering why this game is at the same pace as a certain other game that I played that you probably vaguely remember, it's because this is the same engine as Postman Pat and the Greendale Rocket. Or maybe the Postman Pat game is based on this. Though on second thought, I think this game came out after Greendale Rocket. I can't remember when Greendale Rocket came out off the top of my head. When you see the letter B on screen, press the B button to activate a mechanism. So we stand on this, we press the B button, and we open the door. And by walking past this, we triggered a checkpoint. In case something happens to us, we come back to the checkpoint instead of the beginning of the level. Like, if I jump into the water right here, I'll just be carried back to the checkpoint. You obviously don't want to be in the water here. You just want to jump from stone platform to stone platform. Thankfully, it's pretty simple to do, given that this is a game meant for small children. And if you've been paying attention, you'll not only get all 60 of the fruits here, you'll also be able to get all 6 kite pieces along with it. Congratulations! You've completed the level. If you miss out on any fruits, you can go back to past levels to pick them up. So you can ensure yourself a 100% clear on Franklin's Great Adventure. And now for the minigame. Fly, Kite, Fly. Keep Franklin's kite in the air for as long as possible. Don't let it hit the trees. Press the A button very quickly to keep Franklin's kite in the air. And we have to do this for 20 seconds. Now, thankfully, you don't have to press the A button as quickly as you did in Greendale Rocket. You had to really mash the button in Greendale Rocket. Here, they made it a little simpler. Because I remember that there was a kite part, there was a kite part in Greendale Rocket. And you had to do this same thing. Only thing is, you had to press the A button pretty quickly. Thankfully, the developers learned from that and are like, yeah, kids aren't gonna be able to get through that without being frustrated. Let's kind of dial it back a little, thanks. Also, that you may have heard me dropping one of my shoes on the floor. I'm wearing house shoes as I do this, like I always do. Good job! You made it! This minigame is now available in Minigames Mode. Franklin, listen to me carefully. When you talk to somebody, look carefully at the little indicator to the left of the character's face. It tells you how friendly they feel towards you. The indicator goes up as you help your friends and neighbors. So listen carefully to what they're asking for and you will be rewarded. Speaking of which, I think Mr. Badger has a problem. You should go help him out. Well, I got time. I'm going to make these videos at least 20 minutes each. Let's go ahead and go east. See what's going on around here. And there's Mr. Badger the Postman. At least I remember that from Wikipedia. And apparently this was like a Sierra game. I wasn't close enough. Hello, Franklin. How are you? Oh no! My bag ripped! I lost all the letters on the way. Can you find them for me? And there's the indicator all the way to the left. To the left of Mr. Badger's picture. That shows the Friendliness Indicator. When you do more stuff for a person, that gauge will fill up. And when you've done everything you possibly can for them in the game, it will fill all the way to the top. Obviously, we want to help Mr. Badger find his mail and do his job. So, the compass is still pointing east. Let's keep going and we meet up with Bear. I need to remember that I have to walk into them, not just get next to them and press A. Are you going to look for Mr. Badger's letters? Let me go with you, Franklin. I'm sure I can help. And by doing that, we can go to the big number 2 and start the next area. Do you want to go to the countryside with Bear? Yes, we do. Just like with Postman Pat and the Greendale Rocket, where you had Postman Pat and Jess, you will have ally characters with you throughout the game. But instead of just switching to one at certain points, like you switch between Postman Pat and Jess in the Greendale Rocket, you have your ally character behind you at all times, much like in Donkey Kong Country. Mr. Badger lost the letters. Go with Bear to look for the letters. We have 100 pieces of fruit and 10 pieces of mail to find. Yeah, like I really need to be reminded of Greendale Rocket any more than I already was. So, as I was saying, your friend will follow you around, and you may need their help when necessary. When you have a character following you for the first time, you'll be able to learn what all these characters can do. Now, we are separated from Bear when we're doing this, so we need to be careful. Also, I want to be very careful so that bee does not hit me. Also, floating platforms in Franklin's world. How does that even happen? Video game logic. Yeah, you don't want to run into the bees. If you run into anything like a bee, you will get carried back to the start or the nearest checkpoint. Checkpoints work differently when you have an ally character. Both of you have to go walk past it to trigger it. It can't be just Franklin. You have to have Franklin and Bear pass by it to make it work. Hey Franklin, did you know I'm good at climbing? Well, oh. Use the R button to change character. Apparently we had to walk 2 steps to learn that. But by pressing R, we can climb this telephone pole with Bear. Great, just what I wanted. A video game where someone who is apparently a small child climbs a telephone pole. That certainly shouldn't be shocking to the parents in more ways than one. So, we now found another mechanism. We can press B on this, and this will open up the bridge. Let's go down here with Bear, and we can lead the way with Bear. And for some reason, because the bridge is not really considered like 100% with the land because it was just brought up when we activated the mechanism, I'm going to get Bear over to the other side. And then I'm going to get Franklin over the other side. Franklin and Bear will be together again. Yeah, make sure you don't leave without your partner. That could be a little awkward in some ways, I guess. I don't know how best to put that. That's probably the only way I can put that. Also, there is a log over here. This trunk looks pretty heavy. Let me try to push it. Well, thankfully we were playing as Bear already. And apparently when you push a log with Bear, he makes his face, and I'm expecting him to bust out into the "Who touched my spaghetti" meme in any moment. Also, we have to get Franklin up here manually because of how the game is. And now we have 100 fruits, and I want to get up here. Doesn't matter who you get up here with, just as long as you get up here and get that last piece of... Actually, not the last piece of mail. Okay, apparently you can't get down the hill. And while you could jump on the ball with Bear, he doesn't jump as high as Franklin does off of it. So obviously, we need Franklin down here, or up here, so we can bring this mechanism over to here. Now we need to do some simple platforming with Bear, hopefully without running into the water. Thankfully, we've recently triggered a checkpoint and we won't have to go very far. Now we need to land on this leaf platform, switch back to Franklin, press B, and then we can get Bear up here. We can switch back, and then he can climb the telephone pole. And I want to be very careful. Okay, there's nothing up here. That's good. That's real good. Okay. I'm going to do this a safe way. Get Bear on the leaf, switch back to Franklin, and then I'm going to get Bear over to here. As for Franklin, I'm going to take the long way back. This should get me back to dry land. Thankfully, getting over the gaps in the lake here, I guess it's a lake, shouldn't be a problem at all for either character that we can play as. And now, we can go past this checkpoint and get some more fruits, which is something that I want to do. Oh, okay. Okay. We need to crawl down here with Franklin. He's the only person of the two that can get down here. You want to avoid the spiders. The spiders are bad news. And yeah, you don't want to leap into the water like that. That's what happens. You fall in, you go back to the nearest checkpoint, and from there, you just have to get back to where you were. I got a little scared there. I thought the spider was going to hit me. Hence why I jumped probably a little too early. But we do need to get Bear up here because there is a telephone pole that he can climb. And I'm going to make sure he climbs it. And yeah, unless you have both characters, this checkpoint ain't triggering. You ain't going to make it work. So we need to use the button here with B. Switch back to Bear. Get up here with Bear. I'm going to trigger this first just to be safe because there is a B here. Get up there, Bear. Now, thankfully, you can do this. And thankfully, you can climb with Bear. Or crawl with Bear. You can climb with Bear and you can crawl with Bear. We just made that obvious 5 seconds ago. And from here, we've reached the goal. You gotta go past the sign with both characters, just like you did with the checkpoints. And we found everything, which is wonderful. Thanks for the walk, Franklin. Don't forget to give Mr. Badger the letters we found. Have you seen Beaver today? I think she's playing near her house. You should go say hello. And we shall do that. And before I end this video, want to trade those 10 letters for the Sailboat minigame? Now, this isn't required. We actually have to go southwest to meet Beaver. But you can go back to Mr. Badger and play this minigame. And by doing this, you fill his gauge up. The gauge flashes to show you, hey, you did something. This minigame is now available in Minigames Mode. Told you I had to unlock them. Want to play with the sailboat? Yes. Control the speed of the sailboat to avoid obstacles. Press the A button to fill the sails with wind and make the boat go. Welcome to the sailboat, where you have 100 seconds to get through this as fast as you can, and you need to be very, very careful. You do not want to run into anything like those whirlpools or those lily pads. If you do, you are going to be bounced back like that, and that's not fun. Come on. Now this one you have to press the A button quite a bit. And it can be an absolute pain. Come on, get over there. This is a rather long minigame. If you're not mashing the buttons hard enough, I really need to just be careful with what I'm doing here. Come on. There we go. Now, the whirlpools just slow you down. I'd rather run into the whirlpools than the sticks or the lily pads, because the sticks and the lily pads just bounce you back a little bit. And if you keep bouncing into stuff, you will be kept back quite a bit. And that's not exactly what I wanted. Ah! That hurts! Really had to just push it because... Holy heck, I'm not... Wow. Like, I'm not a kid, but I'm not like an old man either. And I had to mash the A button like no tomorrow. Otherwise, I would slow down tremendously. I think I only had like 10 seconds left on the timer. That is a hard minigame for a game like this. I'm not gonna lie. Good job, you made it. And we have filled Mr. Badger's gauge all the way up, as you can see, all the way to the left. Good job. You passed all the obstacles. And it's a good thing we did. And now that we've done things, we've got our kite built back up, and we've found all the mail for Mr. Badger, we can head to other areas and we will have to head southwest to meet with Beaver. But that will have to wait until the next video. So, join me next time where we head to the southwest, meet with Beaver, and see what other adventures we can run into. Until then, this is PrinceWatercress. Take care, stay safe, and thanks for watching!